I had to unmute us, but we're here. We're good. We've started. The show is going on.
Are you good over there, Amani? Are you tightening
good.
up the ship over there? You good?
I got a little distracted. But we're here. We're good.
Hi, everybody. Happy Monday. Thank you for being here.
Happy Monday. What was the highlight of your weekend this weekend, Mandy?
Oh, Amani. Well, I'm still in Ohio. I know. I haven't moved here. I'm still in Ohio. And we had a family wedding this weekend. One of my cousins got married. So shout out to Alex and Allie. Happy wedding. And super cool. So when they met, they discovered both of their parents were married on October 19th. Their mutual parents had that anniversary. So when they decided to get married, they decided they'd also get married on October 19th, which is really cool that it was a Saturday and all that stuff. So my immediate family, which is, I have 3 siblings, mom, dad, all that, and spouses. My immediate family decided to get together at mom and dad's. The wedding was at 5. Music started at 4:30. We gathered at mom and dad's at 2, and we hired a bus to pick. So we hung out at the house. The spouses, Uncle Rick, and his girlfriend came over, and we hung out and just, did what families do. We had some champagne, we had some charcuterie, and then hopped on the bus. My husband being the DJ, not the DJ you are, Amani, but Scoot likes to make a playlist. So he got some bus playlists going. We were singing the whole way there. And then we rolled up realizing what a disruption we were. There was 10 of us just rolling up to this beautiful wedding. We were loud. And it was fun. I don't think there's any other way a Kabasic family should enter an event. And then we got off the bus and went to the wedding. And it was great. The wedding was great. But I will say, I think my favorite part was being on the bus, singing to some music with my family on the way there. It was super fun.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Good.
What about you? You were in Nashville. I want to hear about Brand Builders and what that was. Tell everybody what Brand Builders is again, in case it's somebody's first time listening. Yes. And what did you do while you were there?
So Brand Builders is a group that I work with. They help you with your personal brand and how, they talk to you about growing how to monetize your personal brand, how to grow your speaking career, how to release a book. So I was there for a hot seat event Thursday and Friday of last week. And in my hot seat, I was able to ask a question about trying to find a specific niche audience, music professionals who can afford coaching. So I was there. We went to I'm trying to think of it as you were talking, went to a really cool restaurant on Friday. I can't remember the name, but it was in the area of Nashville called The Gulch, I think it's called. So cool kind of downtown area. Wow. Yeah. So we were down there. It was a good restaurant. And then I flew back late Friday night. So Saturday I was just kind of recovering. Watched a little football yesterday. My team won again, which is very different from years past. So that was good. And then really preparing, grading papers, a lot of grading papers because it was midterms last week. So a lot of grading papers and websites because I was on the assignment. So I think I'm caught up now, planning, and then just kind of going through some due dates with the book, and that's the weekend. Brings us to Monday.
What's the update on the book, Amani? Tell us all. We're
So
we're
the
on
update,
this journey with
you're
you.
on the journey with me. The update on the
Yeah.
book is that I think by Thursday or Friday, I'm going to start to record the audio book. I've already submitted the book to the Library of Congress and gotten their little approval. I submitted to another thing. So we're going through the copyright things now, copyright and all that.
It's a big
Um,
day. That's a big day. Can we pause for a minute?
yeah.
When I submitted, I'm sure you remember the first time you did this too. That's a big day when you get
Yeah.
that little stamp back that
Yeah.
your book's in the
Well,
Library of
I'm waiting for the
Congress. It's a
stamp.
big
They're going to
deal.
mail it to me, but I submitted it. We have a release date.
Yeah.
February 18th is the release date. So that's the date right there, 2025.
Okay.
So things just keep rolling down. So like I go back and forth with my kind of publishing team now on some different things. I learned some more stuff about book launches at the event I was at. So it's just really like trying to make sure I keep the schedule nice and clear so that I can do everything in the proper time.
I'm excited. Is your pre-sale February 18th or your actual launch is the
Actual
18th and
launch.
then
So
you'll do the
in the
that?
next week or two, I'm going to launch the pre-sale kind of link and everything and go from that. So in the next, I'm got to get both the single orders and then the bulk orders too. I'm working on that now. So hopefully the next couple weeks I'll get that up.
That's exciting. Yeah, as soon as you get into pre-sale, you can start edging towards being a bestseller.
Yep, that's the goal. Yeah. So there's some tactics I learned. So we'll see what can happen.
I can't wait. It's going to be awesome, Amani. I'm really stoked for you. Thanks for
Thank
updating
you.
us.
Always. So with that, why don't you share who do we have joining us today?
Wow, we've got one of our own friends. We've got one of our people here from the hospitality industry in the travel world. She is the CEO of Elevate Travel Company, all about creating transformative experiences for companies. She knows all about epic locations, epic destinations, epic attendee experiences, and I just think we should call her up on the stage. Sarah Reuter, join us.
All right, Sarah, we'll give you a round of applause here. Hopefully, there it is. Applause is happening. You don't hear it on our little headphones, but it's there for the edit. So the applause is there. All right.
Sarah, thanks for joining us. Now, did we say your name? Did we say your last name correctly? First
You
name.
got it. Just like the newspaper, Reuters newspaper over there in Germany. Yes.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay.
And where are you? Where do we find you today? What part of the world?
I am in Indianapolis, Indiana. So I'm not far from you in Ohio, in the great Midwest, and born and raised here in Indianapolis.
Okay. So I'm glad Mandy asked that because I have a question. One of my favorite musicians of all time is born and raised and from Indianapolis. I'm going to give you 3 guesses. I'll let you guess one time, and then I'll give you a clue.
Okay.
Who would that musician be?
Do I get the clues first?
We can give you the clue. I love R&B music.
Oh, man. Oh, my gosh. Okay, R&B from Indianapolis.
Yes.
Gosh.
Naptown, as they say.
Do we have a highway named after this artist? I feel like we do.
I don't know. You might.
Babyface?
It is Babyface. Yes. Well done. Yes. Yes.
Yay, Sarah nailed it. Nailed it.
Took me a minute, but I got there.
Is there a highway? Is there a highway named after him?
There really is. I can't remember exactly where it's located, but that's what signified my brain firing there. I was like, "Ooh, I know there's a highway named after this artist."
Yeah. Done. Now, my follow-up question, which is one of my icebreakers I ask in one of my classes, if there was one city in the world that best reflects your personality, what city would that be and why?
Wow. What a great question.
The kids love it. So yes, but this is what they say. We're in California. This is what they say. Brea, Fullerton, Anaheim. I'm like, come on, let's get outside the box a little bit. No offense to those cities. Please don't at me or whatever.
Yeah, everywhere has its own little flavor, right? And
yes,
what a great question. I definitely connect so deeply with a city called San Miguel de Allende, Mexico.
Ooh.
And it's a city that most people have never heard of. However, it is Travel and Leisure's number one city in the world recently, in the magazine. And it is a hidden gem. I love it for so many reasons. It has so much variety. It has so much richness with culture and color and hospitality. It just oozes hospitality. Um, Beautiful rolling hills and wineries, and it's very much a spiritual land. I really connect with that essence of it being a spiritual land in the center of Mexico. It's about 3 hours west of Mexico City.
Mm.
And I just love how laid back and peaceful the people are there. It's just family and community, and it just feels like this warm blanket that you can like immerse yourself in. And I just love everything about it. Great wineries. I don't even drink wine anymore, but I did try a little sip because I wanted to taste an essence of the land. Wonderful tequila. Um, and just this old like history and richness to this quality of the city. It's just like nothing. It's such a great surprise. You get there. I kind of feel like Indianapolis is the same way. People come to Indianapolis and they're like, whoa, this is kind of much better than what I was expecting. It definitely has that richness to it, but on a grand scale of you feel like you're going back in time. You feel like you're going to Europe, almost to Europe in a lot of ways. So it's just really
Yeah.
fascinating.
Yeah. Funny you say that about Indianapolis. One of my favorite MPI World Education Congresses, and I've been to 6 or 7, was in Indianapolis. And I think it was in 2016 or 17, I think. That's one
Yeah.
of my favorites. So,
Oh, I
yes.
love that.
Yes. Over to you, Mandy.
Hmm.
Well, this might be too personal of a question, so if it is, just tell me to buzz off because I've got a whole other list of questions. Why aren't don't you drink wine anymore?
So about 3.5 years ago, I made a conscious choice. I started to really tap into listening to my body. I really believe
Mhm.
our bodies are our greatest teachers and tools. And through my yoga background and meditation background, I really just started to actually listen instead of resist some of the things that were coming up. And I just made a conscious choice. And, to go even deeper, more personal, I come from a family of alcoholism and codependency and some not so pretty things, not so great things.
Yeah.
And so, very much rooted in that, childhood experience for me. But as a grown woman, it's really been a very conscious choice to kind of sever some not so great stuff in my lineage and really start with this fresh new mindset and this way of being that really allowed me to have this clarity and still have a fun time. I mean, I still love a good party. And even here in my office, I have a full bar of non-alcoholic and alcoholic beverages. Like, I'm an entertainer. It's what I do for a living.
Yeah.
So there's no shame in the game for anyone. It's all, lifestyle choices, right?
I love to hear that. And I wish more people, especially in our industry, would talk about that. I've been on a little adventure myself this year with just paring back on alcohol and seeing how I feel at like going to conferences and not drinking and seeing how I feel. And I've done it twice so far. And I actually have had a way better experience not drinking at the conference. But I think our industry and as a planner, so it's like as an attendee and as a planner, I think we all think that it's all about the alcohol, it's all about the booze, but really the more and more people you talk to, they're either doing that 75 hard or they're paring back or they're not drinking at all. And I think I appreciate you sharing your story, but I just wish more and more people would talk about it because it is possible and it's not that unusual. And it's you come out of it. Think of how many years did you go to conferences where it's hard enough to engage with all of these people all the time, let alone drinking and everything every night. It takes forever to re-enter, right? And now you probably slept a little bit better. You came back feeling a little bit differently. So
Yeah.
I applaud that. And I want anybody out there listening or watching to know if you're thinking about that, reach out to Sarah, reach out to me, reach out to Amani. Like you can do these little things. You can make these little changes that help you have more clarity. So I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the younger generation is such a great, group of people for us to learn from because, they're
Hmm.
not as into the alcohol trend that, my generation was. And so I feel like I'm like, ooh, I'm on the trend of the younger people, but it really has enhanced every area of my life. I'm more connected to myself and my emotions,
Mhm.
and it makes me better at my job and being a mother and a leader in life. It really has been, all good things have come from it.
I love
Nice.
that. I love that. I want to hear for a second with the transformative stuff that you're talking about. So you do talk a lot about transformative travel versus immersive travel.
Mhm.
So I wondered if you could define each for us and then share an example of a transformative event you did you're proud of and an immersive event that you did that you were proud of.
Yeah, that's a great question. So when I think about immersive and immersion, it's kind of like taking a full bath in the experience, and really bringing in kind of some hands-on experiences that invite people into the local culture, or um, even if it's not somewhere traveling like Indianapolis. I help clients locally in Indianapolis when they need an event planner to help, come up with the creative components and bring in all the ideas and the creative concepts to really drive home their message or their theme, which is usually centered around relationships and connecting, right? I mean, that's why we have events, is so that we can deepen our relationships, whether we're introducing a new product, whether we're talking about our book launch, whatever it is, we're deepening those personal relationships. And so immersion, I think of, what sort of outside experiences can we kind of form in this event that can really elevate the experience and bring in this, driving home this message. And then with transformation, it's almost like going a little bit deeper of a layer. And I have a great example. In fact, it's so connected to the question Amani asked with, any
Mm.
city, to describe that city. So one of the beautiful parts about our job, my job, is that, we get invited to go and experience a lot of unique destinations and brands. When I say brands, hotels, we'll start with hotels. And so, I've been blessed to travel to so many extraordinary places for 24 years of my life. And, the beauty of it is, like, when you're that kind of middle person, middle woman, middle man, middle woman, of being that matchmaker between the destination. I'm a third party, event professional. And so I really love diving in with clients to figure out what their brand and culture and voice and goals are when they're having an event. And then, hey, where's the destination that can actually really amplify that message? So it's been such a fun journey. But San Miguel is somewhere that I discovered many years ago through the Fiesta Americana. You guys know Posadas.
Yeah, of
Fiesta
course. Yeah.
Americana is a Mexican owned company, and they have great properties all throughout Mexico and in the Caribbean as well. But I got invited to go to San Miguel de Allende, and I just fell in love with it. And so, when I come back and I can think about clients that I have that it might be a good fit for, I, of course, just start to naturally share, and invite others into the experience. And so that's what I did for a client of mine. They're getting ready to, it's two women who own their own businesses. They're both executive coaches, and they've come together and they do a retreat every year. And it's called the High Vibe Tribe Retreat. And it really
Mm.
speaks to that transformational work. They're really doing a deep dive with every participant, not just on the retreat, but before, during, and after. And people come back different. So you immerse yourself in the culture and the journey and have all these outside experiences like cacao ceremonies, or it doesn't even have to be something that spiritual. It can be, hot air balloon ride over the Serengeti. But you immerse yourself in the
Mhm.
experiences, but then you do this deep inner dive of exploring more of yourself. And, it's such a beautiful thing to witness and be a part of, and know that I have a little piece in helping kind of transform all these attendees' lives that get to be a part of this experience. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful thing. And, Sammy, that again, like these destinations, knowing them and exploring them and building up those resources, it makes it a great matchmaking experience to be able to bring it all together for clients.
That's beautiful. And you did a really good post about that. So for anybody watching, follow Sarah. Her LinkedIn page is scrolling on the ticker. And if you're listening, look her up on LinkedIn. It's Sarah with an H and then Reuter. The information will also be in the show notes. But she did a really awesome post. I think it was about this particular. Was it about that retreat? Yeah, yes. It was very inspirational post. It made me think about other people that I know kind of do that as well. So that's awesome. Thank you for that definition and examples.
Yeah.
Now I noticed you have. I'm looking like on LinkedIn. You have this quote on your banner because you're starting Revive and Thrive. Starts December 11th, 2024. It says, "Protect your peace in the chaos of event planning." So why is protecting your peace so important personally as well as when you're in event planning?
I don't know if you guys can relate to this, but I have kind of fallen short on some things in my journey that, I have a servant heart. Like hospitality is in your blood, it's just something that's there, I think, for every one of us who are in this industry. And, there's this fine line we can get to of over serving. And I tend to be a people pleaser. That was one thing that I really started to notice about myself, is that I say yes to everything, and my boundaries weren't very strong. And again, a lot of this rooted back to come full circle to my upbringing and childhood, to being a part of a family where, love my parents, they love me, but things were very chaotic. Things felt very unstable and unsafe for me in many situations. And so I had to become a control freak who knew how to figure out every problem in the room, and I could smell it from 1,000 yards away, and I knew how to fix it. So I became the fixer, the high achiever, overachiever, people pleaser. And I started to realize on my career path that, I reached a point of burnout. I did. I reached a point of burnout. I was in business with two other women at the time. I grew a business from zero to a multi-million-dollar company in 8 years. And I literally it was almost like postpartum. If you've had kids and maybe experienced this, it's like you don't really know you're in it. You're in that burnout until you're in it. So Revive and Thrive is really me pouring out my heart into designing a program for the version of me 10 years ago who didn't really have the tools. She didn't know the signs. She didn't know the symptoms. And so it's, this program that's really there to serve the ambitious, yet probably secretly overwhelmed, exhausted, on the verge of burnout event professional. I think so many of us can relate to that. We're just so driven to help and to make things really look perfectly beautiful, all wrapped up in a bow, and saying it's my pleasure, and just finding the discernment, finding that line of protecting like what's true for ourselves. And it's really me teaching people how to put themselves back up at the top of that checklist, because a lot of us have fallen short of doing that and really putting others before ourselves.
What would be some tools you wish you had 10 years ago?
Boundaries, number one.
Amani, does that sound familiar?
I'm like, Deja, keep talking to me. Preach. Go ahead. Keep going.
I'm working with I've hired coaches my entire life. I really, for the phase or the season I'm in, I always go to a mentor or coach who's can fast track me to be that better version that I'm striving to be. So my coach right now, her name's Jessica Zweig. She's an author, speaker, incredible woman. She has taught us that even the word boundaries there's a little bit of a defense mechanism that goes up with that word. It kind of feels like a tough word, it's like it puts up defense. So she calls it sacred lines. And it really takes that like, ooh, wow, yeah, this isn't about them. This is about me honoring, like knowing our non-negotiables and knowing what we need in order to really thrive and feel safe and feel supported. And so, yeah, boundaries, sacred lines, whatever you want to call them. I've started to call it that now, but I wanted to give her the credit, obviously, for coming up with that beautiful term, because it is sacred. Our boundaries really need to be something we think through. And I'm actually getting ready to teach a free masterclass on October 30th called Aligned. That's one of the things we do is we practice. It's a practice. Like nobody teaches us how to do this stuff. I didn't learn until I went to therapy and worked with coaches, and I learned how to use this language that didn't feel so challenging and so disruptive, Yeah.
Okay. Now, we talked about lessons 10 years ago, protecting your peace.
Mm-hmm.
What inspires you to like, because you have your primary service, but then you're also doing these master classes and things. How have you been able to determine which kind of revenue streams to focus on and which ones are coming next?
It's a great question. So, the consulting I do with companies to help them find their next destination and hotel and that curation of an experience is my primary lane and will continue to be. I mean, that's what I've been doing for years and years upon end. I'm now at a place where, though, this is kind of like, ooh, wow, this feels like this next product I can add to my current product suite to really help the people like me who maybe are kind of silently suffering in a way, and so I really feel passionate about that. I feel like it's more of my kind of life's work that this is going to, open up these new revenue streams for me, but also it's kind of like, hey, I'm throwing this out there right now. I'm in the bit of a rebranding mode. It's a little scary, Amani. I got to be honest. It's a little frightening, but it feels aligned to me. It feels like my life's work of what I've experienced, what I've discovered is where I can help and serve more and others. And so for that reason, it feels pretty good, but we'll see how this all goes. Revive and Thrive is my first group coaching program, starts December 11th. And so at that Aligned master class is where I'll be opening up the doors to invite others in if they want to get into this deep dive of making, I go back to when I started to do some like inner work on myself, and I was in the busiest season of my life with work. Numbers were big, revenues were big, and it felt like the responsibilities kind of mirrored that too, And so I was really putting a lot of pressure on myself to perform, and I tanked. I literally tanked. And so this is like, hey, I believe that you can have really, really high performance and high net worth and high profits and revenue and have peace. Like that's really the life goal that I'm really striving towards, of sharing with people, teaching people, and practicing what I preach, right? I mean, I'm on the journey too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to dig into the actual company, Elevate Travel Company, really quick. And I'm just curious. So you started this business in 2010, is that right?
So Elevate Travel launched in 2018, actually. It's 6 years.
20,
Yeah.
2018.
Yeah.
And how many people, so I know some of the people on that team, just tell me a little bit about the makeup. Like how many people do you have on the team? How many source? How many service? How many administrative people? Just what's the makeup of your team?
Yeah. The team is, I hire the gig economy. I hire my trusted, tried and true freelancers who it's very project based. And so I have a right hand who's been with me for several years now, Beth. And she handles, once I get done with the creative and putting things together as far as a contract goes with our clients, Beth then becomes the program manager and kind of the account manager to hand off. And we both travel with our clients. And then, so from there, it's really based on the size and scope of the program. And, being in the industry for so long, I've really been fortunate to have a lot of connections out there with people I trust in hospitality who I can pull in to a program, whether they come on site, just to be on site, professional staff to help out, or get involved in the pre-planning process as well. So we're small and mighty. I mean, it's literally, it's a small and mighty team. I'm back on the market to get another assistant, a virtual assistant right now. And in fact, I'm excited about that because I think that's going to help me scale and dive more, be able to serve more with Revive and Thrive, and also help keep the business side healthy with the events and travel portion as well.
Awesome. Amani and I talk all the time about investing in support staff and investing in your business to free your mind up for those bigger things that you want to do and all that stuff. So I love hearing that. Okay, now I want to hang with epic destinations. So you've already talked about San Miguel. You've traveled the world. You've got a map behind you. So anybody listening or watching right now that's thinking about going somewhere, either as a group or as an individual in 2025, where are 2 or 3 places you went in 2024 or that you sourced or curated in 2024 that were either epic or just complete surprises and delights for you?
Great question. This one, I get into my curation mode, right? Because so much. I want to just say this too, because I really feel like this. A lot of people come to me and they'll have a destination in mind. They're like, Sarah, we want to take our group here, right? And after I dig in a little bit more and ask some questions, I start to discover like, okay, well, where does your audience live? Let's really talk about logistics. And so a lot of people sometimes say, hey, we want to do this in Bali, and I'm like, okay, let's get real about how many nights away and, who's your audience, and, oh, they're women and they're mothers and 12 nights away. Like, some of this stuff's not going to fit. Right. Do you like my nails color going on there? I just
you didn't even have to tell on yourself. I didn't even notice.
My son races go-karts. Yeah, it's my pointing finger. My son races go-karts competitively, and it's so nerve-wracking that I literally peeled all my nails last week.
I've been there.
Yeah.
I've been there.
But, this is a long answer. I really believe, truly, what's the proverb or the quote? It's not about the destination. It's never about the destination, right? It's always about the journey. Mandy, you shared a beautiful story about your cousins getting married, and your favorite part was the bus ride, right? And so and my son is a beautiful teacher of this as well, of like, I took him on this, here's a good place for you. I took him to Granby, Colorado, out to a dude ranch. They do incredible corporate team building events out there, by the way. So there's a plug for See Lazy You. It's a dude ranch out about 2 hours outside of Denver, Colorado. And I wanted to take my son there for like a mom-son trip. And we do everything. We hike Red Rocks when we landed in Denver. We drive through the switchbacks to get up to Granby at 11,000 feet altitude. We go mountain biking, we go horseback riding, we go fly fishing. We did it all. And I was also, it was a vacation, but I'm always scouting, right, for corporate groups. Ooh, who would be good here? Who would love this experience? And we get back, and I asked my son, hey, what was your favorite part? What was the best part? And I'm thinking he's going to say the mountain biking or, whatever. And he says, getting there.
Aww.
And I was like, whoo, wait a minute. What a great moment to really think about. The journey begins for all of us. We focus so much on this end thing, and yet every single touch point, there is an opportunity to have those connections, those simple little magic moments, those nuggets of bliss, like being on the bus with your, family and being loud and crazy and having fun. And Like that's the juice, you know, that's the elevated experience to me, is like really being present in the moment and savoring these experiences that, you know, yeah, we get to the final destination and it's just epic, right? It's so epic. So it's who you're with, it's who you're surrounding yourself with, and it's being able to really tap in and get present throughout the journey and really soak it all in. Um, I definitely am a mountain person. If I, and I had to learn that with this, like a lot of times it's not about me or what I like. It's about, I have to focus on my clients and their audience and guide them the best way. So my personal travel choices are often very different from some of my clients and what would be a good fit for them. But I'm definitely mountains, Granby, Colorado, incredible destination. Loved it. Have you been in that area before?
No,
Not yet.
I source that hotel a lot, but I've never been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another favorite, Banff, Alberta.
Yeah, I've heard of
Is it
Banff.
Alberta, or it is Alberta, yeah. Um, the Canadian Rockies are majestic. They are no, I'm not giving our Western Colorado Rockies any downplay or anything, but the Canadian Rockies are incredible. And I'm big on sensory experiences, like inviting in our five senses. It's how we perceive the world. And so there's just something about when you land in, you know, Calgary, and they've got some rich history there with Calgary Stampede. You can do really cool programs there and do this whole rodeo thing. But then the drive to Banff is extraordinary. You're literally cutting through these big, majestic mountains. And then when you arrive in this little small town, the smell of the pines and the trees local to the area, it's like air you've never breathed in before. And it stays with you. That has stayed with me since I was 20 some years old and my first time going there. So it's a destination that I just love to share with more people, because they get that same like, wow, this is different, you know, this is extraordinary. And it's just so raw and beautiful there. Summer or winter, you know, you can do programs there depending upon what your guests are into. If they're skiers and more adventurous, great place to do some skiing. So let's see. Should we add in some beach? So we add in some water?
Yeah, why not? One more beach. Yeah.
Where do we go? Where do we go in the world? Where can we go? Oh my goodness. You know what was a nice surprise? Water. Colombia.
I've heard that. Yeah.
I agree. Where in Colombia did you go?
So we flew into, I didn't get to Bogota, which is the mountainous region. Why am I having a blank? Cartagena.
Cartagena.
Yeah. And we then did some so staying in the main city, fort history, like it reminded me a lot of old San Juan, Puerto Rico, if you've ever been there.
Yeah.
But
me too. It reminded me the same when we were there.
Yeah. It was like, ooh, this is cool. It's like you're literally in the fort in the walled city. So it's really got that history there. And then like colorful. I mean, just so much richness with color and flair and language and salsa and dancing. And we then took boats out to these really extraordinary islands that have some extraordinary hotels and brands. I think, was it Secrets? I think, which is now Hyatt, but is there
Sofitel too has bar? It was Peru was one of the islands too.
Yes. So like, you know, anytime you can roll up to your destination on a speedboat and you know, have the staff grab your bags, like you're greeted with a coconut with a straw in it, and you're like on the island and taking in the salt air and drinking the coconut, and you take your shoes off and your feet are in the sand already. Sign me up. Like that's an arrival, you know?
All right.
Yeah. We had Juan Pablo Toro on the show last month, who was the founder of Valvo Travel, who was one of the DMCs that we've used there. And he just such a spirited person about Colombia.
Yeah.
So I'm so happy to hear you had a great experience. And it's awesome.
Some Instagram streets as well.
For sure.
Always about the gram.
Yes.
We have come to the time in the show where it's time for you to ask both myself and Mandy a question. Any question you want. What question? Nothing is off limits. What question would you like to ask, and who would you like to ask that question to first? And they could be two different questions. Your choice.
Okay. I'm always a gut, intuitive instinct kind of gal.
Yes, we can tell. We can tell.
Okay. So, Mandy, I always start with ladies first.
Okay.
My motto. Mandy.
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, can I make it a two-part question? Beach or mountains?
Sure.
Beach or mountains? Like, what's your soul called to? Beach or mountain?
Mountains, for sure.
Mountain girl. All right. Yes.
Mountain girl. Yeah.
Okay. And if you could ask anyone to dinner, they could still be living. They could have lived 10,000 years ago. Who would it be and why?
Oprah Winfrey, hands down. Oops, all the way. I love her. I mean, I love her rise. I hate her childhood because it was so. I'll talk about chaotic childhood, but it served her so well, and she's so open and vulnerable about talking about it. She's built her career, but she's also super open about the power of friendship and the power of partnership with her, with Stedman. I value her vulnerability. I value her business sense, and she's a talk show host. I'm a talk show host. Like I would want to pick her brain about everything, right? Asking questions, building a business, being a good partner to her husband, or to her boyfriend, husband. We'll call Stedman a husband, but I think Oaks, hands down. That's an easy one. I would do that all over again. Great question.
I love that. I love that. Okay, Imani.
Yes.
You're up.
I'm up.
So, beach or mountains?
Beach.
Beach. Okay, this is why you guys make a good co-host show partnership. Look at that.
Yes.
I truly believe that. I feel like our souls are called to different environments for a reason, for a deeper meaning, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so why beach? Tell us more about that beach.
I like warm weather. I like the water. I like a nice. Well, I don't really drink anymore, so not any drinks by the beach, but just water, swimming, warm weather. As long as you have sunblock on, I'm happy.
Love it. And who is your special dinner guest?
Well, we talked about him earlier. That's why I asked you the question. Babyface. And you can ask me why, and I'll tell you why. He is a phenomenal songwriter, particularly with his lyrics. So I have a list of songs that he wrote that I want to ask him what was inspiration and how were you able to write these songs and these lyrics? I'm ready. So if you know Babyface, I'm ready for that interview. I've been waiting.
I don't know if he hangs out. I doubt he hangs out in Indianapolis anymore, but who knows? He may still have family here.
Perhaps.
You might run into him in the produce aisle. You never know. So just get ready to make that ask for Imani. If you see
he comes to Vegas. He comes to Vegas for his residency 3 or 4 times a year. I've seen him once in concert already. I'm going to go in the fall, or we're in the winter. So I'm ready. Yeah.
So it's all about like the inspiration of how he wrote his lyrics and what moved him to write the lyrics he's sharing.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, if I see him in the grocery store, I'm FaceTime.
You let him know. FaceTime me. I'm ready. I have my questions ready.
I have somebody very important for you to talk to.
Speaking of beach and mountains, what are like your 3 favorite travel hacks that you want to share with us and our audience?
Travel hacks. Pack lightly. Number 1. Wherever you go lightly. You save your back and you save your wallets. This is advice I need because I'm not a light packer. So there you go.
Do as I say, not as I do. Go ahead.
Travel hacks. Gosh, there used to be that whole book on Tuesday. Look for flights on Tuesday, but there is something to this, right? If you have flexibility in your dates of travel, whether you're a group or individual, you're going to get the best value, right? So if you have flexibility, if you're not hardwired into this has to be Thursday through Sunday, weekends are typically higher demand. Travel is supply and demand, basic economics 101. The fuller the flight, the fuller the hotel, the higher the price point. So just keep that in mind, basic economics 101 when you're booking any sort of travel and working with a company that's sourcing it for you, have that flexibility. And I would say another one is get some good credit cards with nice points and ROI on your points. My favorite is the Chase Sapphire card.
Mm-hmm.
Their dollar to point ratio is the best. And if somebody else has done the research, I'm not as I pay people to do the research for me.
I have my Delta card here,
Amani's
but keep
holding
going.
up his Delta Sky Miles credit card.
I meet so many people that are like they love to travel for professional and personal reasons, and I'm like, why do you not have these credit cards? So Amex, I use Amex for my business quite a bit, but my Chase Sapphire is like my personal vacation money. It's great.
Yeah, like
Those are good tips.
that's a great tip. Also, some of those cars give you lounge access. When I was flying out last week, I had to go to the lounge in Atlanta for breakfast after a red eye, and then flying out, I was in the lounge in Nashville. It's just, and I never had. First of all, I never flown first class until I got this card, and second, I never had lounge access until getting this card. But it's just nice. It's like the air up here is crispy or whatever we say there. It's so nice.
I mean,
it just makes it more comfortable.
Yes, more comfortable. Exactly.
Okay, I have a flash round for you, Sarah. So, you've seen so many interesting things over the years and what you've been doing. So I want to yell out a word and just have you say the first thing that comes to mind about something interesting that you've seen within these epic events. And I know I'm sort of putting you on the spot, so it doesn't have to be the best thing. It's just the first thing that comes to mind, even if it wasn't the best thing. Okay, you ready?
Very Mandy. This could be scary, but we're gonna go.
Oh, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. Okay. The first one, swag.
Swag. Luxury.
Elaborate on that. Tell us more about that.
I mean, let's go big when we're going
luxury.
Like let's really get the nice leather bag that costs a lot more, but is going to be a memorable swag gift for our clientele. Like, let's really go big on the gift and the swag. Let's get rid of let's get rid of the plastic and the smaller items that end up costing a lot of money when you buy all that small stuff. But like, go big or go home on the luxury gift items for swag.
I love that. Great advice. Okay, next, name badges. Something came to your mind you're not sharing. I see you, Sarah. I see
Say
it. Just say it.
You're not a fan. You're not a fan.
I mean, I guess aesthetically they suck. They just do. I mean, we just all went to IMAX and I don't know. I like to look snazzy and good and coordinated. And those big old lanyards are just I don't know. They're a lot for me, but I love to be able to see people's names. So I have mixed feelings about it. I really do. But aesthetically, can we upgrade our name badges? Can we really get some luxury, nice, but who wants to spend that kind of money on something they're going to throw away, right?
I want to, we did an event, a wellness event not too long ago, and then found these beautiful gold name badges on Etsy. The names, it was just the first name written in cursive. It was wire. And you can repurpose it event to event. So I'll send you that link because that was the first time I ever saw a name badge that was better than a boring lanyard kind of thing. I'll
Love
send it to you.
That is yes.
Okay, next one. Entertainment. Event entertainment.
A must.
Yes.
Non-negotiable.
Yes. Non-negotiable. As a DJ, I echo that sentiment. Continue, please.
Yes.
Okay, last one. The experience where you most felt like a local. That wasn't San Miguel. No, it wasn't San Miguel. Experience where you most felt like a local.
Ooh, good question.
Puerto Rico.
Interesting.
What was it? What was it that made you feel like a local?
I went to a flamenco dance show. Well, first I went to El Convento. I don't know if you know that property. It's literally in the heart of Old San Juan. Had a lovely dinner there. Asked the servers, the people in the service industry, your bartenders, waitresses, your bellmen, they are your source of entertainment and what to do, right? I asked, where can I go if I were a local? Like, I don't want you to give me the touristy thing. I really want to experience the local flair. And they sent us to this local bar that acoustically was designed for 12-string guitar. And it was the most extraordinary dance I've ever seen. It moved me to tears. I had a very profound experience there. And I just was accepted and invited in. Looked different from everybody in the room. They knew, they were like, what are these chicks doing here? So it was clear that we were in a touristy spot, but they welcomed us in, or not in a non-touristy spot, but they welcomed us in, and we just had the most extraordinary time. And music and dance and art was the common denominator in all of that.
Okay. Beautiful. Love that. Okay. Thank you for playing my reindeer games. That was fun. And your answers were brilliant. So thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
So my final question for you is, if we're going to go back and talk to Sarah, as she's just about to graduate from Indiana State, who for the basketball fans, that is where Larry Bird went to school, if I recall correctly, right? Yes. Wait, and what's the mascot for Indiana State? The Redbirds or Sycamores? Trees or whatever. You have to tree. Yes. Okay. We're talking to Sarah right as she is graduating from college, giving her advice based on what you know now. What advice would you give your younger self?
I would have given that younger gal a little advice to let the chip on her shoulder, just kind of, give it some love. She had a little bit of an ego then. She was flying airplanes in college and then left and had to take a very basic job to get my foot in the door in corporate America. And so it's like, after college, be humble and go where you're supported and you feel connected to someone who's going to guide you, a mentor who can guide you and help you along the career journey.
Well said. Mandy, you want to close us out?
Yes. So, Sarah, you've given us so much time today. You've given us so much advice. We so appreciate it. How can we support you? How can we lift you up, whether it is attend your December event or support your business? How can we lift you up in what you're doing?
I love you guys for this. The word, when I chose Elevate as my brand name, the literal definition is about uplifting others, and that's so aligned. So thank you for that. I believe in that synergistically, and support that I need right now. And really my heart is so into this next masterclass aligned on October 30th. It's coming up. It's like in 10 days, right? Or 9 days, I think. And it's about some of the things we were talking about, building better boundaries, design a day you love. I take people on creative journeys and visualizations, and it's about really putting themselves first and then taking their burnout temperatures, learning how to check in with yourself. And so aligned October 30th, the more people that can hear about this, learn about this, show up, put themselves first, carve out 90 minutes. I know that sounds like a lot of time, but it will fly by. And I am big on not making it boring. I get people up, moving, grooving, music. We might dance. I don't know. We'll see what shakes out. It's very fun and it's very engaging. So it'll be a good.
Well, send us the link, and then we'll put the link to that in the show notes so everybody can see it, and then we'll repost it as well. We'd love to support you in any way we can. That sounds amazing.
Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. We're going to put you back in the green room right now. We'll give you some applause, but thank you very much for being an amazing guest, and we learned a lot from you, and we can't wait to keep in touch. So round of applause here.
Thank you, Sarah. Thanks for being here. Thanks for sharing and dancing with us.
Thank you both.
All right, Mandy, another great episode is in the books. What do we have to look forward to, and who do we have to look forward to next week?
Next week, I'll be in San Diego. I'll be in a familiar office.
Yes.
Familiar acoustics.
With all your lights and everything. Yes.
That's right. Right. And we have Shelly Cruz, the Vice President of Sales for MGM Resorts. We have been trying to get her on for a year. We had a little scheduling mix up earlier in the year, and the long-awaited moment has come. We have Shelly. I've known her a long time. I know you've known her a long time. I think you've known her a long time, right?
I don't
Or
think so.
no,
I
you
think
don't
I'm
know
going to
her at
meet her
all.
for the first time. Yeah, I'm going to meet her for the first time. Yeah.
A new friend, and you're right in
Yes.
Vegas.
Yes.
A new
Yes.
Vegas friend. I'm so
A new Vegas
excited.
friend.
So
Me
yeah,
too.
she's super dynamic. We'll talk about sales. We'll talk about hotels. We'll talk about just personal life stuff. It's gonna be a great show.
All right. Make sure that you
Mhm.
subscribe, rate, and review the podcast or the video stream wherever you're watching it. YouTube, Spotify, all the platforms, Apple Music. Share it with a friend. Thanks again to Sarah, our guest today, and we will see you all next week. Take care, everyone.
See you next week. Bye. Listen to our minis.
That's right. Listen to the minis too. Yes.
Don't forget the mini. Shameless plug mini.
Yes. Shameless plug on the minis. Take care, everyone.